up, everybody? We are back for another live edition of Now That Was Epic. My name is Eddie, your friendly neighborhood 90s kid. And today, Nintendo just dropped the newest edition of the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch 2. Missed opportunity? We're gonna get into it here on the live because I've been hearing a lot of talk, a lot of chatter on threads, on Instagram, people going back and forth on what is Nintendo doing? I mean, I have my own thoughts, but I wanted to come on here, go live, start the conversation, and get everyone's thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2, what this means for current owners of the Nintendo Switch, future plans for Nintendo, what does it mean for the next version or the next console in the upcoming years? Is it going to be 5 years? Is it going to be 10 years? 20 years until Nintendo puts out a new console, not just an upgraded version of the current Switch we already have. So I want to get everyone's thoughts. So jump on the live. Let me know below in the comments what you think about Nintendo's out of nowhere, it seems, drop of the latest version of the Nintendo Switch. What do you think of the name? Nintendo Switch 2. I went and went on threads and I was like, Nintendo Switch 2-y? Banjo-Kazooie reference right over there. You know, missed opportunity. Should it be called Super Nintendo Switch? Nintendo Switch Super? And did Nintendo, you think they would kind of learn their lesson as far as back in the day, Nintendo came out with, and not too long ago, so not way back in the day, but Nintendo came out with a Nintendo Wii, which I never had, but a lot of my friends did, and it was pretty cool. I just couldn't get into it with the nunchucks, and you'd think I would though, because Michelangelo over there. But the Nintendo Wii, they came out, everybody loved it, epic. And then they came out with the Wii U. And so it was like, well, Wii U. And I think, to be honest, I think it kind of fell off. I think the Wii U wasn't as popular. And so I was like, you think they would have learned with not just upgrading the current console that they have and kind of going maybe a different route? Because when they came out with the Nintendo, it was great. The original Nintendo, right? And of course, they came out with the Famicom and things before that, but the original Nintendo was something to behold. And then they one-upped it with the Super Nintendo. Connor Wilfred, hello. Thank you for joining. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on the new Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch 2. What do you think, man? Is it a missed opportunity? I know that's the title of this video. I'm kind of back and forth. Him. He is him. I don't know about that, man. I'm pretty sure he's locked up. There's a Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo Switch 2 just got announced today. Nintendo, amidst all the leaks and drops of their upcoming console, they decided to, I'm guessing, maybe get ahead of, or at least try to put out some sort of like fire, I would say, because everybody was just dropping leaks left and right, putting out pictures on X and Threads and new Nintendo Switch coming soon. And honestly, I didn't really want to believe it. I didn't, and see, you said you didn't even know, and that's what it kind of. This drop of Nintendo just kind of felt like an afterthought. I'm gonna go a little bit deeper into what I really think about it, but I want to get your guys' opinion on what you think. Did you know? Were you tracking it? Were you or are you excited for what's to come for Nintendo and the Nintendo Switch 2? It looks like they're going to be dropping Mario Kart 9, which everyone's been wanting a new Mario Kart. So I get it. I get it. Mario Kart 9 might be day one drop. It looks pretty clean, not gonna lie. All right. So if it looks pretty clean, obviously you may like the current design of the Switch. So because it looks like they took the original Switch, kind of cleaned it up, changed it a little bit, added some color in there, and made it a little sleeker, a little more matte, right? So I'm interested to see what you do like about the new design. If you say it looks pretty clean. They're trying to get rid of Sega. Well, they do have on the Nintendo Switch, they do have, if you pay for the subscription, the ability to play old Sega games. So let me know in the chat, did Nintendo beat Sega? Or did they just decide to partner with Sega and kind of keep the two alive and coexisting? Because, I mean, Sega doesn't really have a console right now. And what do you think? Is there going to be maybe a new Sega console sometime in the future? Let me know in the comments, man. I'm curious. More like the Switch 1.5, new thumbsticks, bigger controllers, and a bigger screen. And that's sort of my point too, is I thought we got that with the OLED display already. Wasn't that a bigger screen or maybe even a bigger console? I don't have it. I have the original Switch, but I'm pretty sure Nintendo already put out the 1.5, right? So is this like a Nintendo Pro? And if it's really the Switch 2, I'm interested to see how much of a difference it's actually gonna be. I've heard or I've seen rumors of it being 4K resolution and display, and obviously Nintendo has 1080p, which is great, but beyond 4K, the human eye can't really tell the difference. So I know some consoles have 6K, 8K, right? But 4K really is like, that's kind of peak. So I'm interested to see if it really is going to be 4K. And if it's not, are you going to buy it? Let's see. Wow, a new Game Gear would be crazy though. Classically confusing Nintendo. I get that, to be honest, because like I said a little bit earlier, they did the Wii, and then they came out with Wii U with the tablet, and I think they thought everybody was gonna jump on the tablet thing because tablets were the craze, and iPad and kids with the tablets, and so, but when that kind of like, in my opinion, tanked a little bit, they were like, okay, we gotta pivot. We got to come up with a new console. So for all of you out there, current Switch owners, are you excited? Are you looking forward to the Switch 2? Because it looks like it may be coming out in like April timeframe, or at least that's when we're going to get more details. April 2nd is going to be like the Nintendo Switch Direct, where they're going to probably drop all the specs, the upcoming games. Is there going to be different versions of the Switch 2? Now, let's say they came out with like a retro style see-through colored Switch 2 where you can see like all the in parts. I mean, that might be something for me at least. something that I would want to be like, okay, okay, Nintendo, I got you. I might get that. Do you like the Sonic more than Mario, or do you like Mario more than Sonic? That is a good question. I mean, I definitely grew up with both Mario and Sonic. Gotta go fast, right? Wee Super Mario. I honestly would say I like the Mario franchise more, but not necessarily Super Mario. I'm a big Luigi fan. Luigi, number one. But to be honest, a little more than Sonic. I grew up with Super Mario. It's probably my favorite of the two, but I do like Sonic a lot. Played a lot of the Sonic games growing up through the Sega onto, Genesis. I played a little bit, and then up to Dreamcast. When Dreamcast came out, and that was huge. I never owned a Dreamcast, but I used to play some of my buddies back in the day. But Sonic was pretty epic. But compared to Super Mario, for me at least, I think it's gonna be Super Mario all day. But what about you guys? Do you guys like Sonic or Mario? Are you wishing that maybe they come back with a new Sega console and maybe Sega and Nintendo kind of fused together into one epic super console? I don't even know who owns the rights to Sega or if they're still a thing and going. I mean, they definitely have games that they come out with, but they don't have like a console. So that's interesting. You're more of a Sonic fan. Okay. What's your favorite Sonic game? Let me know in the chat. I'm interested to see. Are you like old school Sonic, like Sonic 1 and 2 with Tails? Or is it some of the newer Sonic titles? But what do you guys think out there? Sonic and Shadow Generations. Okay. Sonic and Shadow. Some of these Sonic like theme music, and I'm big on theme music, is some of the best. Along up there with Super Mario, right? That's kind of what keeps me, or that I fell in love with when I was a kid, is all the music, all the worlds, the bright colors. It's just so beautiful and great. So Sonic and Shadow is your favorite. Okay. What about Super Mario? Do you have like a favorite Super Mario game? For me, I would probably say Super Mario World. And if you get the chance, check out some of my Super Mario World gameplay. It's pretty cool. I did one not too long ago, a live stream when I hit 200 subs here on the channel, but I put out shorts every now and then. But it's a lot of fun. That is something that I grew up with, Super Mario World. And so I'm curious to see with the new Switch 2, I hear or I've read that it's backwards compatible. So you're going to get to play all of your Switch titles from the original Switch now to the Switch 2. But I'm curious if they're going to go sort of the PlayStation route, in which while it's new and coming out, you can still play some of the new titles on your original Switch. Or are they going to make it exclusive? Like when Mario Kart 9 comes out, is it going to be exclusive for the Switch 2? In which that means everyone who wants to play Mario Kart 9 is going to have to get a Switch 2. It would be very smart from a business standpoint, but a little for us like Switch owners who aren't really ready to dive into a Switch 2. Let me know, guys. What do you think? I should listen to. I love the Sonic music from Sonic Frontiers, the one called Undefeatable. Okay, so Sonic Frontiers, Undefeatable. I'll check it out. I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about, because I have at least seen, or I don't know if I've ever played Sonic Frontiers, but I have seen it. So I may know, based off of like when I listen, I may know what you're talking about. But that's cool. That's a good suggestion. I'll check it out. Sonic the Hedgehog. I haven't even seen the new Sonic movie yet. And that's a epic fail. on my part because I saw 1 and 2. I saw them while they were in theaters, so I don't even know if Sonic is in theaters right now, but I would be interested, of course, in going and checking it out. If not, I mean, I guess I can wait till it comes out and I can stream it or whatever. It's the music when you fight Gigantic. Okay, okay. So it's pretty epic then, huh? It's your favorite of the whole video game. All right, I'm gonna check it out. Just for you, I'll check it out. Um, but yeah, have you seen the new Sonic movie yet? I'm curious if it's as good as Sonic 1 and 2, because I actually really love the new Sonic movies, and I love the Super Mario movie. And so with Nintendo, with the new Switch console, there's a lot of questions out there as far as the future. The future of gaming and movies and just titles in general for Nintendo. I have seen Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic 2, but I want to see Sonic 3. Okay, so you're in the same boat as me. I have not seen Sonic 3. Jim Carrey came back and reprised his role as the epic character Dr. Robotnik, Eggman himself, and he even plays his dad. So he's playing 2 roles in that movie. I don't know too much about, obviously Shadow's in it, but I don't know too much beyond that what the storyline is. So I'm curious to see what the new Sonic movie holds. And I mean, that's sort of if it was really good, and I'm curious to see what the numbers on Sonic 3 are, but if it did really good in the box office and sales and everything, what is that saying to Nintendo? Are they like, man, we got to get out and get this new Super Mario movie out there? Or maybe that's the reason why they just kind of like, here's Switch 2 out of nowhere. I mean, I don't know if it's been more than like 10 years since the original Switch. I don't know exactly when it dropped, but I got my Switch many years after it was already out. And I've had it for a while now. But I'm like, it's been years of the same Switch, and now we have the Switch 2, and it's like, when are we gonna get a brand new console? A redesign, a whole new gaming experience. That's kind of what I was hoping for. So when the leaks came out, I was hoping that everybody was wrong, to be honest. It'll be interesting to see what movies Nintendo decides to make next. Zelda, Metroid movie, that would be pretty rad. I like that right there. That would be pretty rad. I would actually love to see like a Star Fox movie. And that was kind of one thing I was chatting with some of my coworkers earlier, saying like, I haven't really seen anything from like Star Fox in a long time. And I don't know if maybe it's a rights thing or maybe they just can't like make new video games, but it would be really cool, especially since I grew up loving Star Fox and playing Star Fox 64, one of my favorites. I mean, a new Star Fox game would be epic. And maybe that would be something that would entice me to buy the new Nintendo Switch 2. So what games are you looking forward to, or potential titles and games, movies, just like you said, would you guys be looking forward to with this new Nintendo Switch? Because as of right now, it looks like on launch, it's going to be Mario Kart 9. So let me know your thoughts on Mario Kart 9. What are some Switch titles that you'd be interested? Probably Metroid, a new Zelda, looks like the new Pokemon game is probably going to be on it. Pokemon Z through A. I hear a lot of talk about people wanting a reimagined Pokemon Gold and Silver, much like Heart Gold and Silver. I think that was on the DS or 3DS. But I hear a lot of chatter about people wanting a reimagined version of that. And I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm like, Pokemon Gold and Silver was classic. So if you give me that on the new Switch, That's another thing that I might be enticed to be like, okay, Nintendo, here's my money. Take my money. And what's the price point going to be? I'm curious. What do you guys think? Because I beat Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, I still have to play Breath of the Wild. I played a little bit. I never finished it. Still got to play Tears of the Kingdom. I have it. I've watched my girl play it, but I've never played it. So, but it looks really cool. It's a long game. I saw her actually beat it, and I was like, damn, this is forever. Um, Phew. For the win. For the win. I mean, maybe they can partner with Microsoft and my dreams can come true and they can put out a brand new Banjo and Kazooie title, which would be so beautiful because there hasn't been a new Banjo and Kazooie title since Banjo 3E Nuts and Bolts, which totally tanked on Microsoft's, I think it was Xbox 360 at the time. And I was just like, they kind of went the Ratchet and Clank route and it just was not Banjo Kazooie, what everybody loved from it. Nice clickbait. Well, if you saw the earlier, I mean, is it a missed opportunity? Should they have called it something else? Should they have put out a brand new Nintendo altogether? I was kind of going over this with my coworkers. I was like, honestly, if it leaked to the point that which it leaked, which these leaks were like on point, the designs were already out, and I don't know, maybe Nintendo did it on purpose. But if I was a business owner and it leaked in the way that it did, I would have been like, screw it all. Trash it. Let's come out with a new console. I don't care if it takes 5 years. Let's reimagine it and just trump everybody. Like, let's come out with something way better than what we even had planned. That's kind of what I mean. Obviously, they probably have stuff in production, so it could be harder than it's easier said than done, right? Easier said than done. But I would have just been like, you know what? At this point, is it even worth putting out? Because the drop today just felt kind of nonchalant. And I saw a lot of people saying that online too. They were like, the meme of James Franco, they were like, same, but different, but still same. That's Nintendo right now. It's like, we're going to give you something totally different, but it's still the same as what we just gave you these past however many years it's been. So you say clickbait, I say, is it really? I wanted to put an interesting title. Obviously, I want people to join the chat. I want to get the conversation started. But really, I want to know, how do you guys feel about it? What are your thoughts on the Switch 2? Are you going to get it? Because I think, to me personally, I might sit this one out. I might wait a while. I might see if they kind of like, much like the Wii U, if they pivot and try to come out with a new console quicker. Have actual content is cool. As long as clickbait videos have actual content. I mean, I'm wanting to go over a lot with you guys. So I'm trying to put out content, and what I have here is more of a conversation, right? I like to engage with the audience, much like you, right? I'll read your comments. I'll hear your thoughts. I want to know what you guys are thinking out there. And so hopefully I've done my part as providing some sort of content, but I just want to get into what this means for Nintendo in the future, because this new release could be not, I wouldn't say the downfall of Nintendo, because they're going to bounce back. I believe they can, and they will, because they have such classic titles. But is it a misstep? Is it a missed opportunity? Because they could have maybe called it something different, maybe Nintendo Switch Pro. And so a lot of people would have knew more of what to expect. Because when you say Switch 2, I'm thinking maybe it's like, and it is a newer, better version, I would say. Is it really 4K? And they might try to ask $400. That's what I heard. I heard it's going to be like $499, to be honest. So $500 for a 4K Switch with maybe newer joysticks, and that's it. I don't know, man. The screen looks very similar to the OLED display. It still has the large bevel around the edge. I thought it was going to be edge-to-edge screen. Some of the leaks that came out showed edge-to-edge screen, so it's a little interesting. Andrew, at least around is 400. The most would be 450. Okay, so 450, maybe that would be it. I really want another Zelda Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. So another one along the same style. That would be cool. The freshness of the OG Switch took us all by surprise. How could it so? But since not much is changing, the enthusiasm just might not be there. And see, that's where I agree. They haven't really given anything that's like, boom, enticing you to buy this new console or redesigned console that may be more expensive than like the original Switch. And you give 4K, okay, they're right in a line with like PlayStation 5, right? 4K. And a lot of people felt when the original Switch came out that should have been 4K. So it's really like you guys are sort of on the late train, man. They're pulling, I would say, sort of like an Apple is like, we're going to give you this now, and then in 10 years, we're going to give you what everybody else gave you 5 years ago. So that's kind of interesting. If I was to make a Sonic game, what would it be? That is a good question, man. When I was younger, I played one of the Sonic games in which he was sort of like in the real world. And that was actually really cool at that time. But honestly, I would kind of take it back to the adventures, the old worlds, maybe come up with a brand new, sort of like the Mario Odyssey, but before he goes to the real world, sort of along those lines, a kind of continuation or redesign, refresh of like what they did with Mario 64, and kind of get back to what made you fall in love with Sonic in the beginning, which was these massive worlds and adventures and loops, and throw in some maybe new characters, right? I think that would be really cool, and reference like the video games and the movies. So kind of make it very on the nose. I would like that. That would be really cool. It'd be different. It'd be different for sure. Watch them go in a completely opposite direction and release the first smell-enabled console. Now, I saw that, but I think it was PlayStation that was wanting to like have you to be able to smell your games through the controller. And I thought that was pretty interesting. I was like, so if I play Resident Evil, I'm just gonna get a whiff of dead zombie the whole time. It's just like, oh, like what is that? I thought that would be pretty interesting, especially with all these games that have different worlds and massive, like the smells would just be off the charts. Now, that would be different. What I was talking to my friends about though, I was like, watch them go in like a sort of VR way, and they like give you a headset and a old school like duck hunt gun and a redesigned power glove, and they're like, get back to what made you fall in love with the Nintendo, but it's like all super redesigned and it works. I was like, that would be kind of cool, to be honest. What would Sonic's world smell like? Oh, not the smells. It depends on what the world is, man. Is it an ocean world? Is it all green like the original? So it'd probably smell like fresh trees. And that's interesting. What would Sonic's world smell like? Let's ask Nintendo or Sega and PlayStation, like, get on that. Make smelling your games a thing. That would be interesting. Refreshed retro, I'm here for it. Yeah, man, imagine you have like release day, new Nintendo Switch. They give you a redesigned Duck Hunt gun and they're like, launch day, Duck Hunt 2025. And then they like one up it and it's like, remember the power of Nintendo in the palm of your hand? And it's like a power glove that's like wireless and totally works and just is like nothing ever before, because I remember the power glove had like its flaws and stuff like that. But that would be pretty cool. It's like you're shooting and punching with the new redesigned power glove, and it's like you could play Red Dead Redemption, right? Any shooting game with a redesigned duck hunt gun, that would be epic. Sonic's breath would probably smell like chili dogs. Yes, that is actually really funny. Good one, man. Good one. Yes, Sonic would probably smell like chili dogs. And it would be really interesting. Like he would have to break the fourth wall and just come up to the camera and be like, "So where are we going?" And you would just smell chili dogs. And that would be really weird. It would be interesting, but weird. But I'm here for it, man. It would be something different than just like a redesigned, updated software. And it seems like nowadays, everybody's just like, we're gonna give you slight tweaks and an updated software. Here you go. And that's why everybody's like, just play your PC. Just get a good computer and play on PC, because consoles is like, they're just kind of jerking you around. So I don't know, man. Goosebumps, doom, 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 doom. That would be interesting. It's like you incorporate, and that's what they want to do, right? Haptic feedback, incorporate wearable technology and smelling. It's like when you go to the movies and you're in the 4DX and it's rocking you around and you're smelling the smells and you feel like liquid rain on your face and everything. And it's just like, damn, this is immersive. So imagine that, but like on a console. Would Nintendo ever do it? I'm curious. I mean, it would be a completely opposite turnaround. So with the Switch 2, okay, you play a PS5. I've got to play PS5 as well. I play it too, but not as much as I probably should. It just kind of sits there. Much like my Nintendo Switch. I have a bunch of titles on PS5 and Switch, and I liked and subscribed. Hey man, thank you for the like. Thank you for subscribing and joining along in the chat. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. So thank you for coming along the ride and for letting me know your thoughts on the new Nintendo Switch, because I'm actually really curious if you guys are looking forward to it. If you're gonna buy one, what are you gonna do with your current Switch console? Like, are you just gonna collect it and then get the new one? And that's why I said, for me, I think it would have to be something like kind of like a retro nostalgia, just like they did with the PS5 Pro when they came out with the classic gray controller and the new flashback to the original opening of the PS5. It sold out. Like, it was gone. You couldn't even get one. And so I was like, okay, PlayStation, I see you. You're smart and capitalizing on retro nostalgia. A lot of people love it. A lot of people are here for it. So the only thing I say, Nintendo, is if you want my money, come out with maybe like a throwback to the Nintendo 64 with clear controller joysticks, or a clear all the way console, maybe like a fire orange or a teal blue, and I might consider buying the Switch 2. The look, the feel, give it like the retro opening, and that would just be, it would be really cool. I'm keeping my Switch. Okay, great. I'm keeping my Switch 2. Or my Switch original. I'm keeping my Switch also. And I actually never got the Switch Mini, which I always wanted because they actually did do the like colorful Switch, the yellow, the teal, the pink. And I was like, those are really cool. And it kind of reminds me of the Game Boy, right? Big Game Boy fan. But I never got one. I always kind of wanted to pick one up, but I was like, I've got my Switch. Why do I need like a smaller version of it? Because the Switch is like handheld and you can take it around. And nowadays, most of the time, my Switch just kind of chills on the dock. So I'm curious, are you a Switch handheld person? Do you play while you're sitting down or on the couch, in bed? Or are you more of putting the Switch like a classic console and playing on your TV? That's what I do. You have the mini Switch. Okay. How do you like the mini Switch, man? I never actually got to play it. What color do you have, actually? Did you know that Sony did way better than Sega and Nintendo combined? I didn't know that, to be honest. I thought Nintendo was kicking ass and taking names for a long time. And I know they did. And there was like the Sega Nintendo Wars, right? That was huge in the 90s. But then, yes, Sony did come in and the original PlayStation sold like crazy. And Nintendo had to come out, well, with the GameCube. They came out with the 64. But when they came out with the 64, people were like, PlayStation has the disc. Why do it, like, we're moving away from cartridges. But I'm actually a fan of the cartridge. So I'm like, I kind of wish that they made these Switch games bigger because right now it's just like an SD card. But I'm a fan of physical media, physical cartridges, right? Like I have my Banjo-Kazooie one over there and it's actually the cartridge. I have a mini Switch. I love the mini Switch. Okay. Also, yup. Make the creator of Sonic. Oh, okay. He went to jail. Wow. Okay, Naka. Yuji Naka. Yuji Naka went to jail. I didn't know that. You're dropping some knowledge on me right now, man. I did not know that he went to jail. What was he doing? That's an interesting, you got to let me know. You got to let me know what he went to jail for. If you know, I didn't know that actually. I know that Sega tanked and the creator of Sonic. So maybe that was along the lines with like, hey, Sonic, he went to jail. Sega just started, because I know Sega tanked with the Dreamcast. Like it was just like all downhill from there. Also, yep, Naka, the creator of Sonic, went to jail, but returned when Sonic Forces came out. See, I didn't know that either, man. You know a lot about Sonic, and I like that. I wish I was as passionate about Sonic as I am Super Mario. We could have a lot of conversations probably about Super Mario, but this is some interesting knowledge on me. I appreciate you dropping it on, letting everybody in the chat know what's going on with Sonic. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for jumping in the chat and coming on the stream. If anybody is watching, what do you guys think about Nintendo Switch 2? Are you a Sonic fan? Much like Connor Whitehead over here. Whitehead? Whitted? Whitehead. If you're a fan of Sonic, okay. Only, what? You've got some knowledge. That's crazy. You got way more knowledge on Sonic than me, man. Are you a Sonic fan? Are you a Nintendo fan? Sega? PlayStation? What are your consoles? Let me know in the chat and let me know what you're interested in seeing for the upcoming new release of Nintendo Switch 2. Are you looking forward to maybe a Super Smash, like return of Super Smash Bros? Because I know they had one on the Switch. I didn't really play it. I haven't played Super Smash since Nintendo 64, but I was more like Mario Party, Pokemon Stadium. That would actually be really cool. Like a new Pokemon Stadium updated with all the new Pokemon, the millions of new Pokemon that they have in there, because I used to love the mini games of Pokemon Stadium. Those were, me and my friends would just get on the Nintendo 64 and just play for hours, rounds and rounds and rounds of Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Stadium 2. So I'm interested to see what consoles or what titles and what games they should, like, you guys think they should come out with the new Nintendo Switch. I'm more than positive it's gonna be a new Mario Kart right at launch, Mario Kart 9. I'm not a huge fan of Mario Kart 8. I know, hot take. I said it. More of a fan of the old school Mario Kart, especially Nintendo 64 Mario Kart. I still play that to this day. But Mario Kart 8 is pretty cool. I've played with my buddies, and it's fun. It's just so far advanced that I'm just like, I kind of suck at it, to be honest. But Mario Kart 9 would be fun to play. Maybe a new DK game. Maybe, like Connor was saying, maybe they fuse and join forces with Sega, and maybe Sonic is in the new Super Smash Bros. Or maybe Sonic, they have a video game that they come out with on the Switch in which Sonic will be there. What is your opinion on Sonic Forces? I've only played it so many times. I didn't really get far into it, but it's pretty cool. I like it. Video games nowadays have I have a really hard time getting captured by video games and just playing them for hours and hours and hours like I used to when I was a kid. When I was a kid, man, I would play Sonic all the time. I would play Super Mario World, Banjo-Kazooie, Star Fox, and I would just be on them for days and days. And I really haven't had a game hit me like that since Jedi Survivor, or I think it's Survivor. It's either part 1 or part 2 of the Jedi games on PlayStation. Those games had me up all hours of the night, like losing sleep, looking at the time like, oh man, I gotta go to work. And so when a game can do that for me, I'm like, I'm invested. So to touch back on Sonic Forces, I played it. It was cool, but it was just like, it didn't capture me like the old school Sonic games. And I think it would be really cool to give like a new Sonic game a chance and to see if it'll capture me in the way that maybe the old ones did. I love, but people on YouTube keep hating on it. Oh, really? They hate on it? Okay. That's what I'm saying, man. Maybe they're just not willing to kind of like get into it and give it a chance. So maybe they're missing out, much like me. I'm probably missing out on a really great game. But if you say you love it, man, I'll have to revisit it and maybe check it out. But I can see that. A lot of people hate on a lot of things, which I was seeing some hate on the drop on the new Switch 2. I don't hate on it, but I was kind of just hoping that they would maybe put out something a little bit more exciting, something more enticing to where it's like, okay, I'll buy that. That'll make me want to like be like, okay, I'm gonna forget my Switch and jump on the new wagon. But for me, it's not there yet. So for everybody who came along for this stream, I appreciate you. It's getting a bit late. I will be going live tomorrow, I will be going live tomorrow, but on a totally different topic. I'm a huge WWE fan, and I will be going to WWE SmackDown tomorrow night. So I'll either be going live before the show or after the show, but I'm going to be going into the show, my thoughts, how much fun I had, kind of starting the conversation on WWE, SmackDown versus Raw, just like the video game, and getting everybody's thoughts and takes on that. But until next time, friends, feel free to come along, hit those like buttons, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and thank you to each and every one of you out there who have made this YouTube channel what it is and made the journey so far an epic one. Thank you and good night. Now that was epic. Appreciate y'all.